Hey, Drew here. Got another great article summary for you. This one is titled How Insider CEOs Succeed. I think this is a great article. It caught my attention because I've had clients in the past that are headed for that C-suite and they are inside the organization currently, and maybe they've come up through the organization, hired on at an entry level and moved up in the organization. Since I work with a lot of small businesses, this is very common practice. Now, there are some pitfalls with that. Sometimes you aren't respected as much, or if you start in the organization, you were very young, maybe fresh out of college, something like that, and you moved your way up in the organization, you might be viewed by some people in the organization still as that young person that really didn't know what they were doing. But you've developed, you've grown, and you have leadership capacities, skill sets that you have demonstrated. And now you're asked to be on the level of executives in that C-suite level. And so there are some pitfalls there, but once again, there are some opportunities. So let's go over some of the highlights from the article. Insider CEOs are more likely to have already served in the C-suite or led a significant division. They are familiar with the organization's history and culture and may have played a key role in its development. Employees, direct reports, and board members may nevertheless have built-in expectations of them. That was kind of what I was talking about. If you've been in that organization for a while, they might have you kind of pigeonholed as one way, or maybe they just remember those those years of struggle early on, and you know, when you didn't demonstrate the leadership capacities that you have today. And so sometimes people can get locked in that mindset. You may even have some challenges working with people that were your peers. Many times when I'm working with folks and I'm coming in, they're kind of taking on that first executive role. When I speak to the owner or the CEO of the company, I say, hey, what do you want us to get out of this coaching session? I do what's called a Triad Coaching session, where I have the CEO there, I have the executive that I'm going to coach, and then I'm there and I say, what do you want this executive to get out of our time coaching together? And the CEO will just share right then and there what it is they want their executive to learn and grow and develop in. And it might be they need to better give constructive criticism to their former peers, and I want to make sure that they can do well with giving that feedback that is necessary to their team members. But they used to be among them, right? They used to be friends with them. They've come up in the organization, so that's a little hurdle that those insiders have to overcome. Very, very common. It can be challenging for new CEOs to be objective about items they helped design or advocate in former roles, such as the strategy plan or key efforts like acquisitions. So if you helped design a certain program, or maybe you oversaw the design of a sales department, something like that, and now you have to make decisions that encompass the entire organization, that can be challenging. It's something to be aware of, something you can easily overcome, but it's something to be aware of. And that's what I like about this article. It just gives you like a heads up on a few items. And then finally, CEOs who ascend through the ranks almost always have to lead people who were once their peers. And we talked about this, and on rare occasions, they're supervisors. So sometimes, and I've seen this before, where you actually are now leading those who led you in the organization. They reached a point where they didn't want to grow anymore, or they were kind of at capacity, and you overcame that barrier and continue to grow in leadership, and now you're leading them. It can be a challenge. It's not impossible, right? It takes both parties to work together, but it's something to be aware of as you are growing in that organization. So I really like that article. If you want a copy of the PDF, you can just hit me up in the comments below, and I will send you a copy of How Insider CEOs Succeed. All right. Have an awesome day.